and welcome. I have some very easy tips and tricks to show you that you can use in the newest Grandmaster Sunless Cell. Like, did you guys know that you could shoot the portals that shoot those blights at you before they even spawn in, and you can just take them all out and not have to deal with them later on? I randomly figured that out by trying to kill an enemy, and instead I was shooting the taken portal thing. Anyways, before we go over all the tips, do not forget to like and subscribe. It would mean so much to me. And if you didn't know, I actually live stream on Twitch almost every day, where I do a bunch of raffles, especially Grandmasters. So if you ever want to come in and hang out and game, definitely go and check me out there. Start the Grandmaster and head over to the entrance where you'll come across an unsub that you have to kill. After you've killed him, go ahead and run inside, and eventually you'll get greeted by another unsub that you have to kill. Once you drop down the basement, be careful with all the enemies that are down there. There's a bunch of thrall that will start attacking you by running at you, along with a knight as well. Depending on your playstyle, there's a bunch of different ways you can play. You can play aggressively by pushing all the way in and taking out as many adds as you can, or being a little bit more passive by staying right here where I'm standing at and shooting all the enemies from a distance. Be careful with those taken eyes who put stacks on you called suffocating terror. If the stacks get too high, they will actually kill you. So the only way to get rid of them is by shooting the wizards attached to the eye. I personally stay right here and kill all the enemies one by one to make it safe for me to walk out there and proceed to the next area. However, you could technically skip this first wizard right here and go straight across the room where you'll find 3 more wizards. Those 3 wizards are the important ones. Once you kill them, it will actually open a door to the next room. If you are going to be aggressive though, do not forget to kill this unstop that spawns with the very first wizard. Now you should be in this gigantic room that gives off this blue light. There's going to be a bunch of adds in the middle, as well as a unstop champion that you have to make sure you kill. The left and the right side of the room have those taken bubbles that you're gonna have to shoot down and destroy. However, when you do that, taken portals are gonna appear and they shoot these blasters at you, but you can actually prevent them from spawning in. So before you even shoot down a taken bubble, use your long range weapon and shoot at where the portals are supposed to spawn in. You can pre-shoot them and make them despawn, so when you actually take down a taken bubble, you don't have to deal with them. And after you shot down at least most of them, and you've taken down the unstop in the middle, you can then, if you were to run invisibility on Hunter, or if somebody on your team is, they can just go invis, run over to the bubble, take it down, and then you can just skip all of the adds because the exit door is going to be open for you to exit. For the next room, I personally like to stand right where the Subjugator is standing and use the rocks for safety. Be careful with the middle eye because that one will stay there until the Subjugator is dead. As always, there are multiple strats you can do in here. In my solo run, I could skip the Subjugator because I took too long to kill him. The game spawned in the ogre boss, and technically all you have to do is kill the ogre boss. You don't even have to kill the Subjugator if you wanted to take it as slow as I did. Or if you're aggressive and you have a team with you, killing the Subjugator is going to be faster. Speaking of the Subjugator, he can spawn in as a bane. Doing damage to the Subjugator will occasionally spawn in adds, but eventually it will also spawn in 3 wizards attached to an eye. Killing the wizards will despawn the taken eye, which I highly recommend you do as fast as possible. During that exact same time, an unstop is also going to be spawning in, so definitely take him out as well. Once the Subjugator is dead, the exit door is going to open with an ogre inside. He is going to be very tanky and you have to kill him in order to be able to exit this room. Same with the Subjugator. As you do damage to the ogre, occasional enemies are going to spawn in. The ogre doesn't necessarily shoot at you. I just kept peeking from behind a rock and he just kind of stayed put where he was at, and I could just shoot him down. Moving on to the next room. This is the one that has so many Shriekers inside it, and I highly recommend working on the Shriekers as fast as possible. For anyone that knows me, I'm a Wish Ender person, so with my Wish Ender I can easily take down all of those Shriekers. But if you have any other long-range weapons, those will work just as fine. I like to shoot the first set of left and right Shriekers down first, and then I try to focus on the enemies on the ground. Once I've killed enough enemies, I can then push out a little further and make the next set of Shriekers open up so I can shoot them down as well. And I basically use that exact same method the entire time. Be careful because there are knights left and right, and there's going to be one unstoppable on the left side and one on the right side. Then there are two bosses blocking off the exit doors, but you just have to focus on one of them. If you have really good long-range weapons, you can stand very far back and shoot the boss down without him even shooting at you. But if you are using an aggressive build, then I highly recommend you pushing up. Once he's dead and you've exited the room, you're gonna get greeted by an unstab, and then you're gonna come across the bridge. After this bridge, you're gonna have a flag, so feel free to use everything you can possibly use. I like to shoot down the Grims first, and then I try to push down to the bridge with all of those husks coming at me. Make sure you remember that if you don't shoot the husk's middle crit point, it is going to have this flying worm coming at you and explode. Moving on to the final room, which in my opinion is the easiest one. You're gonna kill this knight, and as you're doing damage, occasional enemies are going to spawn in. However, once you get about the first third of his health bar down, you're gonna get 3 wizards that are attached to those terror eyes that you have to take down. These wizards should not shoot, but make sure you watch out for those stacks of terror. Now once you have pushed the boss's health bar and he goes immune, you will have 3 more wizards spawn in attached to those terror eyes. This time, the wizards are going to be shooting, so just be careful. After all the wizards are dead, the boss should reappear, but as a taken knight this time, as well as a champion along with a bunch of adds as well. Again, the more damage you do, occasional enemies will spawn in, but once you reach the boss's health to about halfway, another unstop with a bunch of adds are going to spawn in, and that will be the last time that you will have to deal with any kinds of adds. After that, you could just kill the boss. And those are all of my tips and tricks I have for this strike. If you are curious on what loadouts are good or what you should use with your teammates, I can make another video on what loadouts are good for this GM, because there's some really fun ones on every single character. Definitely let me know down in the comments and I will make a loadout video as well. If you haven't yet, please leave a like and subscribe if you ended up enjoying this video and if it was very helpful. It really does mean a lot to me. Other than that, I will see you guys in a future video right here or over on my Twitch channel if you wanted to come by and say hello. Thank you so much for coming in and watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye!